Redlining was an elite few deciding who gets what resources through our institutions, through our systems. If you have been excluded from being able to generate wealth, then you don't have an opportunity to have intergenerational wealth. You don't have an ability to leverage your home, your small business, ability to be banked, ability to live in a neighborhood that has clean air, clean water. That is intergenerational.
Greenlining the Block understands how deep and far the chasm is from recovering from deep embedded inequity.
Communities of color have systematically been cut off from funding and investments that can create better conditions in their neighborhoods. These are the very same communities with the least existing capacity to navigate, apply for, and access large infrastructure investments from both the public and private sector. What we're left with is top-down solutions that fail to take into consideration the needs and expertise in these neighborhoods. Together, they perpetuate cycles of disinvestment that exacerbate existing inequities and racial disparities. We know that local leadership exists and that communities of color know best what they need to thrive. Believing in and investing in that local leadership and helping to connect the dots between communities and existing capital investments, that is what Greenlining the Block is all about.
This building we're going to create as our little Manila Rising Center.
More space for our folks to do the healing work that they're doing in community.
Community spaces in many different forms, from community gardens, a plaza for assembly.
A community center focused on increasing mobility.
We all have to hold our decision makers and the ones that run our economy accountable to our inability to be able to meet people's basic needs. The kind of organizing that we'll be doing is organizing the nonprofits that are involved in making this kind of change happen in communities and build their political power in order to be able to be at the table with decision makers in government, in industry, and even in philanthropy.
Greenlining is the voice of the community, is the voice of the people to say, this is what we believe should be how we allocate resources.
We want to pair our partners with people in philanthropy who currently may not know them, but through this effort are able to meet them and are able to resource those partners directly as opposed to having it through Greenlining the Block. That opens up access to structural power that our partners currently may not have. By being able to be connected directly to philanthropic dollars, it allows that to happen. Another way that we're hoping our partners are able to get resource is obviously through applying to competitive grant applications in the public sector.
These applications are no joke. They do not make it easy.
A lot of these groups have never applied for a federal or a state level grant before. What are those barriers that pop up for them in that process, and how can we start to try to overcome those barriers?
My team is a team of two. So having this partnership is going to be pretty significant because we know there's an extra team from Greenlining that will be supporting us in that application.
And then the last way that we're thinking about resourcing our partners is by cultivating relationships with the private sector, particularly the financial services sector, to be able to encourage those players to make investments into these communities so that they can continue the work far beyond the partnership that we have with them formally.
Getting to understand a game that was never made for us, but then changing that game at the same time so that we can actually even get close to what equity is.
You can't sustain a community just on philanthropy dollars. You can activate it. We have to call everybody in order to make the change.
We are a Black-led racial equity movement. We're a nonprofit organization, and we're taking responsibility for bringing this vision to life.